The road to March Madness is on for the Vols. 2 weeks, the top 4 teams in the conference on Tennessee's schedule. Auburn comes to town tomorrow night. Our old buddy Bruce Pearl leads into town. This is what you play for if you're a Tennessee Vol. Happy Tuesday, Frank Rock, House of Orange Sports Channel coming at you. Thank you guys for tuning in with me. It's Tennessee, it's Auburn, tomorrow night, Knoxville, 7 o'clock, ESPN2, 4th-ranked Vols, 11th-ranked Tigers, according to the AP and coaches poll. And this 2-week stretch for Tennessee can determine really kind of their seeding in, of course, the SEC Conference Tournament, but the bigger picture could determine their seeding in the NCAA tournament, as Tennessee controls their own destiny in the conference. But I feel tomorrow night, out of these games, I feel tomorrow night's a must-win game. And I'm going to explain while we get to that here in just a few minutes. But I'm looking at, where these teams rank in different polls. Of course, there's those polls as well. Look at the KenPom poll, and KenPom has Auburn ahead of Tennessee 5th, Auburn 5th, Tennessee 6th. Offensive, defensive rankings, man. These teams, I'm looking at their stats. I'm looking at where they're at. And these teams are close in a lot of different categories. So I'm looking at, what I'm looking for Auburn tomorrow night coming in is, let's see, Auburn leading scorer coming in, Johnny Broome. He is averaging 16.4 points, 8.6 rebounds per game. And what you're looking at here out of him as well, you're looking at a big dude. You're looking at 6'10", 240. You're looking at their second leading scorer. Now, this is in conference at Jalen Williams, 14.5 points per game, 4.5 rebounds per game. So he is listed 6'8", 245. So that's a big forward right there. That's a big guy. And then you're looking at Chad Baker-Mazara as their third leading scorer. And this is another dude, 6'7", 180. So he's not the big bulky guy, but this is more of your guard forward type. And then after that, it kind of drops off. You have Denver Jones, Katie Johnson, Trey Donaldson, Aiden Holloway, all guards in that range, averaging 7.8 to 6.1 points per game. So that's kind of your main guys Tennessee has to look out for. And the big thing for Auburn, and where this has given Tennessee trouble in the past, this is big guys. Jonas Adu, Tobe Awaka, they're going to have to be on it tomorrow night. I seen something, a clip, an interview with Adu, and he had the big game against A&M the other night, and asked him, well, what's the key to more of this? And he said, just staying focused. So he's got to be focused tomorrow night. Tobe Awaka has to be focused tomorrow night. That's going to be big keys for Tennessee as they come into this game. I mean, you're looking at their individual statistics. You're looking at it in conference. So, right now still Dalton Connect, 24.4 points per game. Adu, 13.5. Ziegler, 13.4. And Adu in conference averaging 8.4 rebounds per game. You get a drop off with James and Vescovy, 6.9, 6.7. Jordan Gainey, 5.8. Awaka, 5.6 in points per game. And, James, 5.1 rebounds. James and Connect, they're going to have to rebound as well. Awaka, we need one of those games from Awaka tomorrow night where he comes in and kind of controls the paint for that portion of time that he's in the game. And we're looking at Auburn from a team statistics standpoint. This is where some of the similarities, I'm going to compare them. Auburn averages 82.7 points per game. Tennessee on the season in their average points per game, 80.3. Field goal percentage per game, Tennessee is 45.6. Auburn, 46.9. Let's see, Auburn 3-point percentage, 34.1. Tennessee is at 34.5. And then free throw percentage, Auburn is at about 75.5%. Tennessee's about 74.5%. Rebounding per game, Auburn's averaging about 38.6 per game. Tennessee 39.1. So very close on this one. Assists, Tennessee averages 17.3. Auburn averages 17.6. Turnovers, 10.4 for Auburn. 10.4 for Tennessee, right on the dot. 8.1 steals per game for Tennessee, 7.4 for Auburn. And then blocks, that's what I'm looking at, 5.9 per game for Auburn, 4.8 for Tennessee. Man, these teams are almost mirror images of one another in terms of statistics. So many of these percentages are within like one or two of one another. And, I think what has to be the X factor tomorrow night is home court advantage. Home court. Auburn's coming to Knoxville. Anybody who's going to this game in orange and white tomorrow night, you need to bring it. You need to bring it. And, I talked about it where matchup disadvantages, home court. I think that's where Tennessee has the home court. Another advantage, Dalton Connect. Auburn doesn't seem to have that scorer like a Dalton Connect. They're point guards, not scorers like Zakai Zeller. I think that's a matchup advantage for Tennessee as well. You get into that kind of secondary. Adu, where Auburn has it, they have a few big guys, two big guys in Williams and Broome. And so do you see more spurts of Adu and Awaka to combat that? Or what do you look at? Josiah Jordan-James, when Jemai Mashak's in, they're going to have to do their job as well on, Baker Mazzara, because he's their third leading scorer. We need the good Josiah Jordan-James, the good Santiago Vescovi to show up tomorrow night. This is a tough matchup, man. This really is. Like I said, it's one that I think they're pretty even in a lot of ways, but that home court advantage has to come into play on this. It really does. And, we need on fire Dalton Connect tomorrow night. He doesn't have to be on fire from the get-go, but we need him to step up to be, to go towards sewing up his Conference Player of the Year awards. Disadvantages, again, these big guys in the rebounding. These big guys have been ones that have given Adu and Awaka fits this year. That's been some issues Tennessee's run into. Pretty much every loss, they've gotten dominated on the boards, or they've, a big guy's kind of dominated the games. Adu's going to have to bring it tomorrow night. He talked about having to be focused. He's going to have to be dialed in heavily tomorrow night. It's going to be a big night for him tomorrow night. So I think that's a disadvantage for them. And, other than that, I think everything's pretty even. I think Connect and Ziegler are an advantage. I think the home court versus that big guy. And, Adu can be an advantage. Awaka can be an advantage depending on which ones show up. Adu, for the most part, has been really good this year, but he's had those moments where, we need more out of him, and we're going to need it tomorrow night. And I talked about how I feel this is must win for Tennessee. Here's why I feel that. You're going in, Tennessee has a one-game advantage over Auburn. They win tomorrow night. If Tennessee wins tomorrow night, that's a two-game advantage with the head-to-head in hand. That's essentially a three-game advantage over Auburn. Auburn wins tomorrow night. That ties them with Tennessee in the loss column. And here's what we're looking at down the stretch. Tennessee has Alabama Saturday night out of Alabama. Next week, midweek, they're at South Carolina. And then they conclude the regular season at home against Kentucky. That's not an easy last three games coming up. Auburn, on the other hand, they have Mississippi State at home Saturday. They're at Missouri the following Tuesday, and then they're at home against Georgia. You got to like Auburn's chances to win out after Tennessee tomorrow night. You got to like their chances. And, if they do in that sense, Auburn's got a real good chance to finish first in the Southeastern Conference. And, just kind of curious as well, looking at Alabama's schedule, because Alabama's going to factor into this as well. They've got coming up, they've got Ole Miss tomorrow night at 9, Tennessee on Saturday, at Florida next Tuesday as well. And then let's see, what is their final game? It's not listing. Arkansas at home. So you got to like Alabama's chances of at least winning tomorrow night at Ole Miss. Last game against Arkansas. At Florida, with the way Florida's playing, may not be an easy feat. And then, I still like Tennessee's chances to go down to Alabama and win Saturday night. Maybe my mind changes tomorrow night, but I still like Tennessee's chances to win at least three of these last four games. And there's a case could be made for all four of them. I think, honestly, these next two, And this is no disrespect to South Carolina. Their style of play is going to give Tennessee trouble. And Kentucky at home, I like Tennessee to win those 2 games next week. I feel tomorrow night and Saturday night's the big 2. If Tennessee can win those 2, I like their chances of winning the Southeastern Conference regular season. And I like their chances of possibly going in as a 1 seed in NCAA tournament, which would be big for this program. But, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this thing up on that. Big week, big 2 weeks coming up, leading up into Southeastern Conference tournament, leading up into the big dance. This is the time of year, and I love how this schedule's setting up for Tennessee down the stretch. There are no easy games left the rest of this season. They're going to have to bring it every night. There's not that night where you play someone you can possibly just lollygag through it and win it. They're going to have to bring it every night, or they're going to stand a chance of losing against any of the last 4 teams they're playing, probably when they get into Southeastern Conference tournament play, and definitely when they get into the NCAA tournament. But I'm going live tomorrow night right after this game. So around 9 o'clock, a little after that, we'll go live and we'll see how far we go with that. I intended on Saturday night. I got into it, was about to cut it off at 25 minutes. Some of you guys that chimed in started lighting the chat up, and we went for a little over an hour. I could have went longer, to be honest, but it was time to wrap that up. But going live tomorrow night, I'm going to release tomorrow keys to winning tomorrow night against Auburn. Later this evening, after the Tennessee baseball game, I'm going to release a video, just a game recap. I'm not going live after. I'm going to kind of hold off on that for a few weeks live on baseball. Just not much, not a lot of interest, but, you guys have done it. But I'll still be recapping the games, previewing the series and the games coming up. And then, I'm going to kind of devote this next month or so to basketball for the most part, with a lot of baseball coverage mixed in with it as well. And then, of course, got to mix in some football coverage as well with spring practice right around the corner also. But like always, make sure you like this. I hope you'll share it out for me. And, if you're a return listener and you like the content, I hope you'll hit that subscribe button as well. But my name's Frank Rock, House of Orange Sports Channel. Happy Tuesday. And as always, go Vols.